Major breaking news. I've just gotten back from the 2025 Gundies Awards, and I'm happy to report, thanks to you, I have won in the category of Top Voice of the Second Amendment. Top Voices of the 2A, the 2025 Gundies Awards in Las Vegas. Obviously, I couldn't have done it without your support. And again, I want to thank you all so much. It is a great honor and a privilege to be named the Top Voice of the Second Amendment this year at the Gundies Awards for 2025. I, of course, want to congratulate my fellow finalists, all of whom I look and support and cheer for and all that. Collier Noir, obviously we know William Kirk over there at the Washington Gun Law, Emily and Richard at Armed Attorneys, and, of course, Carrie Sloan at Stilettos and Shotguns. And, again, great group of finalists there. And I'm really happy and proud and privileged and honored to have actually prevailed and won Top Voice of the Second Amendment this year. And again, I could not have done it with all of you. I just want to talk to you briefly about what I said when I accepted the award. And I want to talk briefly about how I view this channel in the past and moving forward. And that's this. When I accepted the award, I let everyone know, and many of you may have seen the award ceremony. It's online. But if you missed it, I can go ahead and tell you. When I accepted the award, I said the following. I said, look, I could be anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world really that I want to be on that night, including at the President Trump's inauguration, which I had ample tickets to and all the fancy things. I had all that. But I chose to be in Las Vegas supporting the Gundies Awards and my fellow content creators that support the right to keep and bear arms, because I am of the firm view that there is no more important issue in American life today. And we have a lot of important issues, don't get me wrong. But the most important issue is ensuring that we Americans never lose our right to keep and bear arms. And I actually mention the famous quote from the youngest Supreme Court justice in history. That's Joseph Story, who was appointed to the Supreme Court by the writer of the Constitution, James Madison. And Joseph Story, the Supreme Court justice who became famous by the movie Amistad by Steven Spielberg, who freed the slaves that had mutinies and fought the Spaniard ships in the story of Amistad. And Joseph Story wrote the following in the early 19th century about the importance of the right to keep and bear arms. He specifically said that the right of citizens to keep and bear arms is considered and is the palladium of the liberties of the republic, which means it's the bulwark against all sorts of attacks on our freedoms and liberties. And I mentioned that. It's so important. That's why I was in Las Vegas. That's why I support the Gundies Awards. That's why I support everyone in the Second Amendment community, because the right to keep and bear arms is the palladium to the liberties of our country. And then I also made a final note, and I just said, moving forward, in my view, it's extremely important. It's extremely important that everyone in the Second Amendment, everybody in the Second Amendment community, stay together and fight together and support one another. And I then said, don't take my advice. Take the advice of founding father Benjamin Franklin, who, after he signed the Declaration of Independence with all of the other co-signers of the Declaration, he turned to them and said the following. He said, my friends, we must be certain that we hang together. We must hang together. Because if we do not hang together, my friends, we will most certainly hang separately. Now, that's somewhat of a joke, somewhat of advice from Benjamin Franklin holds true today, in my view, when it comes to the Second Amendment. We in the Second Amendment community must hang together in all respects. We don't have to agree on everything, but we must hang together and fight together. We are much more powerful together in protecting the right to keep and bear arms. And again, if we ever lose this right, then the rest of the rights will fall by the wayside, in my view, because this is the essential right that separates citizens, which we are today, from subjects and serfs. And with that said, I just want to remind you all, as I thank you again for your support, for allowing me to become the top voice of the Second Amendment this year. I just want to remind everyone that the 4 Boxes Diner stands for the 4 boxes of American liberty. The cartridge box, which refers to the right to keep and bear arms. The jury box, which refers to the right to have a fair jury and the rule of law. The soap box, which speaks to, of course, the right to free speech. And of course, we must never forget the ballot box, which is the right to vote and be heard in our governance. And with that said, I want to thank you all for supporting the 4 Boxes Diner here. I hope I will continue to bring great information to you, because the way I see my role here, so we're clear, My role here on the Four Boxes Diner is to try to give you definitive, clear answers on complicated questions involving the courts and the law and these areas that are not that familiar to most ordinary Americans and, frankly, most lawyers because it's so complicated. And I want to give you information that you can rely upon and you can trust so you can go out there and serve as a force multiplier in your communities, wherever that community may be, fighting for our right to keep and bear arms and taking the information I provide for you. You don't have to credit me. You don't have to cite to me. I don't care about that stuff. Just take the information I give you, the information, go out there and fight for our right to keep and bear arms. Because again, as Benjamin Franklin said, in essence, we're all in this together. We better stick together so we can prevail and make sure we never lose our right to keep and bear arms. And by extension, we never lose the other liberties and rights we are entitled to as God-given here in the great United States. Again, thank you so much for your support here on this channel and for supporting me for the 2025 Gundies Award, Top Voices of the Second Amendment. Thank you so much.
Orders up. Table 2A.